My son is talking. And we're talking on self-care. What does it look like for you? What does self-care look like for you? And if you're just tuning in because you're in the group, if you're in the group, we got the Zoom in there. It's got the Zoom connection. You can click on there. So if you're watching from the group, you can come on in here and we can we're discussing self-care, what it looks like for you. Self-care looks like for different people, but I'm realizing it is needed. We as women go through a lot, and I say this, but especially with me interviewing the domestic violence survivors and that are still suffering from domestic violence, I'm seeing, in prior to now, probably they didn't have as much self-care. Now, self-care is not just getting your nails done, but self-care, doing the inner work, doing the mental work to take care of your mind, to take care of your mind, to celebrate you. One of the things for self-care we can talk about is pampering yourself is a form of self-care. Pampering yourself is a form of self-care. Getting your hair done, taking care of yourself. So pampering, you could call it pampering, but it's really taking care of yourself. And this one girl on Facebook. Jay, can you be my charger, please? Somewhere in the living room. This one person said this, and I'm going to quote her. She, they say, that's too much. I can't do all that every day. She said, fine. But as committed as you are to being unkept, minimal, and regular, I'm just as committed to being fabulous, glamorous, and the best version of me every day. Mind your business. So, if people want to say that you extra because you got self care, or you extra because you may get your nails done or hair done on a weekly basis. I get crochet, so I get my hair done every 6 to 8 weeks. They may say you're extra, but it's okay for the extraness in your life. Self preservation. It's all about self preserving, self preservation. You have to preserve yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to give a rat's flying flip flop about you. And there are some people, but majority, you ain't. They come far few, because it's not that they don't really care. It's because they have their own lives. It's because they have their own lives. And I know my mom, she's concerned about me. I probably get a little more concerned about her, but she's concerned about me. Got other folks that are, they may check on me every now and then and they don't see something, but you got to remember, other people have lives. So you have to know your triggers, what's going to cause you, okay, well, I might need to just hold off on that, or if somebody say something, to take the time to say, hey, I'm about to go here, give me my space. It's okay to let folks know to give you your space. They have to respect it. If they don't, then bye bye. If they don't respect you saying, speaking up for yourself, telling people, this is all about self-care as well, speaking up and saying, hey, I don't like it when you say these things, because people don't know your triggers. People don't know all about you, all about some things that may happen to you in your life. And so, some things they may say, some things they may do, including your spouse, may trigger some things. They may trigger an old bad emotion, or trigger something in which you have to let them know, hey, I'm not comfortable by you saying something like that. I'm not comfortable, but um, that's because that's is part of self-care, caring for yourself, not allowing other things to come forth that you don't feel really comfortable with. Case in point, today I had to tell my husband, there's just some things that, like, you're not going to be able to say and try to flip stuff on me at the end of the day. There's some things there's some things that you may have allowed in the past, but this is a brand new day. This is October the 3rd, 4th. It's a brand new day. You ain't got to accept the same things you accepted yesterday, or even 5 hours from today. 5 hours ago, 3 o'clock. You don't, stuff is constantly changing. You don't have to accept the same things you accepted before. And so when people think they know you, they think they know you because they're married to you. They think they know you because they raised you. They think they know you because y'all were raised together. But at the end of the day, they don't know the inner works of you. They don't know the inner works of you. One of the things in self care is, and I'm reading from Miss Grace's book, practicing forgiving yourself. Practicing forgiving yourself is part of self care. If you don't get it right, it's okay. If you mess up, it's okay. If stuff slips your mind, it's okay. Give yourself some grace. Um, this is what Ms. Grayson says. Probably everyone who's used this book has been told at one point that they should forgive. Unfortunately, very few have been taught or shown, how to do the forgiveness work. I'm about to tell you how, in simple terms, that anyone can use and understand. Refusing to forgive ourselves means we're holding on to toxic guilt and shame. Refusing to forgive others means we're holding on to resentments. Someone anonymous wise person said, holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. Resentment and guilt can literally poison a person's mind, body, and soul, shorten life, diminish the person's quality of life significantly. So, forgiving yourself, in consideration of forgiving yourself, let's clarify the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is feeling bad about something I did. Shame is feeling bad about who I am. Guilt says I made a mistake. Shame says I am a mistake. Guilt can serve as a useful short-term purpose. Every human being has done things they later regret. It's part of the human experience. Healthy healing process when we make a mistake is to admit our mistakes, make corrections, make amends or restitution when possible, learn or relearn the lessons available, let go of the guilt, and number 6, move forward with new learning or relearning. Remember, when you're forgiving, you aren't condoning the mistakes you or others made. You're saying it's okay that I or others did something hurtful, wrong things. Forgiving yourself is not an easy task as well, because there can be so many forms of uh, shame and guilt. Okay, there could be so many forms of guilt. Mom guilt. Oh boy, mom guilt. When the children are acting a certain way, and you're like, oh my God, did I raise these children right? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something right or wrong? That kind of guilt. You have stuff at work guilt. Oh my gosh, did this go wrong because I did something wrong? So you have those type of guilts. Mom guilt is the one. Parental guilt. A sibling guilt. Sometimes we take ownership of our siblings' behaviors and stuff, and we feel guilty that they may be acting a certain way. Did I do something wrong? So practice and forgiving yourself and not allowing somebody else's actions to be your own, so where you feel guilt or shame. And she talked about here about what shame is. Shame is a feeling bad about who you are. Now you can be guilt and shame. I used to have mom guilt with my son. That was something that I had dealt with my oldest son. You know, did the things, some of the things, did I do wrong by letting him, by being more lenient? I think so, but I'm not gonna beat myself up. I should have been more harder. I should have been more stronger. But I'm not gonna put all the blame on me. My son is my son. He's a strong-willed child, and the dad got something to do with it too. But forgiving yourself, um, saying it's okay that you made a mistake, and instead of forgiving, say that I'm willing to release the negative energy I'm carrying that's associated with this mistake. That's something to say. We're talking about self care, and right now one of the self care is just forgiving yourself. Because you can do all the extra self care. You can do all the you can do all the extra self care of like the Getting your nails done. Can't show you the other hand, but getting your nails done and toes done and the outside, but the inside. You still got to care for the inside. You can care for all the physical, your hair, your nails, and all that kind of stuff. But self care, if you have to go outside and take a day and go relax with nobody, it's okay. I am an extrovert. However, I do like my quiet time. I do like my introvert time as well. Quiet time to myself, no noise, no nobody, or no nothing. It is okay for that. Self care, forgiving yourself, is the first key for the inner work. It is not as easy, guys. It's not as easy. But Ms. Grace says here the good news that anyone can learn to use healthy guilt in a constructive, life enhancing way and then let go of it. Like everything else, it gets easier with practice. I like this part she mentions right here. The truth as I understand it. The truth about us is that we all are spiritual beings on a human journey. We are good enough in all of our imperfect glory. We are born precious, lovable, and valuable without condition. We deserve good thing the universe has provided for us, which is infinite. Again, you may again you might say, but it's not that simple. But it is. That's me saying that. Because we as humans, we do make life more difficult than what it is. I'm seeing that we make life more difficult what it is when we want to take control of everything. When we're worrying about the what ifs. What if this? What if that? That stuff ain't even happened yet. So stop worrying about what could happen. As my girl Crystal said, coast with the Holy Ghost. Be intentional. Be intentional. However, you can't control how things are going to happen. Miss Grace says in her book, it is simple, and releasing internalized shame is absolutely necessary if we're ever to have a great, robust happiness in our spirit, mind, and body. Um, she would say that releasing shame is typically a process, not an event. It takes time. So, if so, that's not a problem. We have plenty of time to do the personal evolution work we are willing to do. Often, people doing shame release work need lots of love and support, and that's fine. There's plenty of love and support available to those willing to ask for support and accept it. Guys, when you're doing the work, the inner work, it is when you're doing the work, it's not an easy job, but it's done, but it's necessary, and people will be able to see some kind of glow about you because when you're not taking care of self, you have some kind of like darkness. You vibrate on a low frequency over you, and so you get that darkness appear on you. But when you are healthy and or and self when you're healthy and when you are loving on yourself, it's gonna exude out. When you know that you are love and you are lovable and you love everybody else, it will exude out onto others. Now, people will come in and try to dim that light, dim that what you're trying to say. They might not like it. So what? Tell them to take it up with God. If you're tuning in, guys, we're talking about self care and we're talking about the inner self care. We know that outer self care, as always, when you look good, you do sometimes feel good, but it's only temporary if your insides are not truly worked on. So, self care, what does it look like for you? Is self care is self care a monthly trip to the mountains, or to the beach, or I have one mom. She has an autistic son, and I watched her autistic son for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. I just don't know how she does it because he can't really talk, and you trying to get him to do this. He thinks it's a joke. Then he's 8 or 9. I have my son here to help him because he's heavy. So sometimes, for her self love, for her sanity, because he likes to do stuff like open the door and all this kind of stuff because he's young, and so she gets a hotel. Sometimes she's in the city. She has somebody watch her son. her mom or somebody, and she takes a night for herself at a hotel just to get out the house, get into a new environment. That's part of her self-care for herself as a mom of an autistic son. And she has two adult children, but she has an 8-year-old autistic son. And so this is very important to me because we have to take care of ourselves. I know that 3 years ago I was not looking like this. My mother says that, or was it 2 years ago, that I was looking frantic and I was not taking care of myself. I did not have as much boundaries that I have now with my son, my oldest son, anyways, and people. I didn't have that much boundaries. I am a people's person. I am a recovering people pleaser. But I was looking frazzled because life was happening to me and I wasn't taking care of myself like I should. But in that process, I was learning about self care, inner healing, inner child work, and all of that in the process. And that's why this is near and dear to me because I know you can feel like you're having a nervous breakdown if you don't have self care. Self care can also look like going to see a therapist, a counselor, a life coach, talking to them on a regular basis. So you can be in a space, in a place that only talk about you. Because when you're talking to friends, it's like a dialogue. They're gonna talk about their life. You're gonna talk about their life. Sometimes they may dominate the conversation, or you can't say what's going on in your life. So sometimes self care can look like going to a therapist, going to um, a counselor. If you've been watching anything with Superwoman Still Standing, um, Expo, Miss Tanya Simmons Lee is a great. She probably does a virtual. I'm not sure. You have to ask her. I don't know. But Miss Tanya Simmons Lee, she is a great therapist, counselor, licensed and professional. Um, and so seeing someone and talking about you on a weekly or every other week, like you might not can afford to go every week because that $30 copay every week. But you might can go every 2 weeks, every other week, every payday Thursday, every payday Friday to go see someone to for your self-care, your mental self-care, your mindset. Okay. We're talking about self-care, what it can look like for you. It could be getting a hotel room. It could be going on a quarterly basis every 3 months, going somewhere for the weekend, just yourself. Going on a leaving on a Friday, Saturday, coming back on Sunday. Cause these children act like they Jacob, I'm doing a live, please. Jacob, I'm doing a live. These children act like they can't live without you. You gone for 2 days. I left Thursday, on Friday, Saturday, came back Sunday. They act like you they, and they're Jacob is 15. My oldest son is 18. They act like they can't like you going for a lifetime by leaving for 2 or 3 days. And then the other folks, my mom was like, "Well, Darren, oh, you say you might not to do that when they're at the house." No, self care, self preservation. Okay, so you might want to go to if you're in Atlanta, you might Jeju's. I call it Juju's. You might want to go to Juju's on a quarterly basis. Get that nice scrub and sit in the sauna and relax. Read a book. It could be just your self care. Could be every Friday night at 8 o'clock. That's your time to relax, unwind, and read a book. What does self care look like for you? You need it. If you got children, you need it. If your children are grown, you need it. If you're working, you need self care. You need self care, period. But these are other triggers that can kind of get on your nerves and have you all frazzled and not your real self, not lovable and kind and all that extra kind of stuff. You snappy because you snappy because your mind, oh, you're snappy. Because and if you're snappy and that's not you, something could be irking your nerves and you need something to release that. Whether it's a walk to get those endorphins up in your mind and your brain, it could be walking, it could be running. Black girls run, it could be riding a bike. I just need you to do some kind of self-care for yourself, for your spirit, for your mind, and for your body. It could be journaling. I don't know. But these are some ideas for self-care and what it could look like for you. Setting boundaries, guys. That's one of the things that I just talked about. I did not have per se. I had them, but they weren't like solid. But I'm solid in my boundaries. I'm solid in my boundaries when it comes to my children. And my oldest is learning. You're 18, baby. I ain't gotta do for you like I used to. You 18. Um, there's some people that your boundaries may be more lenient. Like my boundaries for my mama are a little bit more lenient. For my sister, they're more lenient because they don't really call me on that much. If they call me, I need to see what's going on because that's family. That's the only close family that I have is my mama and my sister, and then my dad is in California, and my other sisters and brothers are in California. But you have to make a decision on your boundaries, who they're going to be lenient for. Those are the only people that will be lenient for, okay? And the folks that basically they're the ones going to be lenient for. So setting your boundaries is part of self-care as well. Setting your boundaries for your work, if you work from home, if you have your own side business and your part-time entrepreneurship, setting the boundaries for that. Whether like I'm realizing now, like there I gotta set some boundaries for my new clients. Like some of my clients are my friends. Like I don't work on blah 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 day. Like I don't really work on Mondays. That's my kind of Mondays are my relaxing days, like because I do plan on speaking and stuff and going to conferences, and it's on the weekends. Monday's my kind of chillax, chill day, get together for the rest of the weekday. So you got to discover, you had to see what your boundaries are, and what your self care could look like. Your self care could look like you're gonna be on beast mode from September to July 15th. After July 15th, you may take a break from July to August. That's me. And so that could be your break. So uh if somebody needs to go on a trip or something like that, you're like, oh, I can't go because I'm in beast mode. Or you look at your calendar and say, hey, if you're going on a trip in August or July, hey, I'm game for that. But if you're going anytime other than that, I cannot go because I'm in beast mode. Or you can incorporate that and be still in beast mode where you're going. So self-care, what does it look like for you? And it's your life. Don't let nobody else tell you any different. I know for me, it was um, listening to my own voice. I was silencing my own voice. I was silencing my opinion to make not necessarily make other folks happy, to appease them and not get into kind of conflict or for them to say anything at all. But not no more, honey. I'm like, oh, I'm using my voice. My throat chakra is gonna be unblocked. It is unblocked. My throat chakra is gonna be not underactive. Okay. My root chakra is not gonna be underactive. I am learning who I am. This is who God created me to be. Some people will not like it because they don't know who God created them to be. Period. So when you're walking and learning more on how God created you to be, the right people will respect that. If you're changing, your brand or switching things up, the right people will respect that. They will understand. The right people will understand evolution, expansion, evolving. We're not going to be the same people that we were last year. We're not going to be the same people that we were 10 minutes ago. Our bodies are always changing too. So I don't want to keep us too longer. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about before. Anybody want to have a comment, Miss Lisa, Miss Katie, or anybody on Facebook that's in the Power Lounge? You can comment, or the links on there, so you can come onto the Zoom and make a comment if you want to be out here. Yeah.
I have a comment there.
Okay.
So when you were talking about the self-preservation, I really like that. And like you were saying, you've been having some conversation with your husband. I've been having conversation with my husband about different things. But sometimes I get caught up in, okay, am I being selfish by voicing my opinion or by telling him how different things make me feel? Am I being selfish, or is this gonna help our relationship to be better? So I do have to be careful with
Mm-hmm.
that when I'm like saying this is how that particular thing makes me feel, that I don't get to the point where I'm always thinking, well, this is selfish of me to say this or selfish of me to say that, So, but I do like the idea of self-preservation, because I truly believe if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Right.
And a lot of times we give out, give out, give out, and we don't ever do anything to replenish ourselves. And I'm an introvert, so I am very quick to say, or to be like, okay, I need to just take time for myself and forget. I spent a Christmas by myself when we lived in Kansas. My
Mm-hmm.
husband came here. We were planning to come here to the Atlanta area to visit our family for Christmas. And I had just got so drained that I didn't want to be around people.
Oh wow.
So in my job, the place that I was working, we would close down for 2 weeks. So I didn't have the people at work. And then I was like, I'm just staying here. And my daughter lived in Kansas too. And she rented a house in Missouri, which was like 2 hours away. And she did a nice thing and everything. And I wouldn't even go there. I'm like, nope, I just need my time to myself because I was so drained. So I recognize, when I get drained, I need to just really take time for myself, even if it's like for a half a day, or just to take a nap or something.
Right.
Because it's really, really important, because you cannot function that way. And one of the things that happened to me a few weeks ago was I sent out an invite for some people to be on my show, and they responded to me, but I didn't respond back to them. So I knew that should have told me that I was getting agitated and fatigued, because I'm usually very quick to respond to people, and I ignored that sign. And a couple of weeks ago, on a Saturday, I couldn't do anything
Oh
but just stay
wow.
in the bed all day, because I had overextended myself and didn't wasn't giving myself that time to relax and refresh myself and do the things that I need to do. So I really like this self-care, and especially when you say that it's not all about getting your hair and nails, even though it can include that, but
Yeah.
it's like so much more
Mm-hmm.
to it, that and that getting a hotel room, I'm all for that. Just getting away from your normal environment
Yep.
for a day or 2 days or something like that. That I mean, it really does. It revives you, and then you have all this energy that you can move forward and do things in excellence, like you, especially if people are used to you doing things, then you're able to operate in that way, that standard that you have set for yourself to operate in.
Yeah.
So
And
I've really enjoyed this.
you said the key word overextending yourself. I like you said we do kind of we can sometimes overextend ourselves, and we have to, like you said, look at the signs of overextending ourselves, being irritated.
Yes, definitely, definitely
Mm-hmm.
being irritated, and it's usually the irritation is you're gonna take it out on the people that's closest to you. I always say my husband is my easy target, so I have to be careful when I talk to him in certain ways. I
Mm-hmm.
know that for me, that's a sign that okay, this is not about him, but he's an easy target. So then I have to figure out what's causing the irritation. Whether I'm fatigued, I need to take a break, or whatever it is I need to do, because 99% of the times it's something that I've done. It really doesn't have anything to do with him. So I have to be careful, because I know he is my easy target. And if people don't understand what that means, it's like it's the one person that you can go after them and they are not going to come back at you, and you can just like basically attack them. Sometimes it's your children, your spouse. If you're single and don't have any children, it could be the people that you have your closest relationships with,
Mm-hmm.
because you know that they really have your best interest at heart, and they will more than likely back down if you come after them in a certain way. But then you have to really be on guard for when you are interacting with them in a way that's different than you normally do, that you are targeting them, taking out something on them that they have nothing to do with, because they're your easy target.
Right. Yes. So thank you so much for commenting, Miss Katie. Um, yeah, I'm just realizing like I know you said something about when you tell people, how stuff make you feel. I think for me, I know that I used to not just say nothing. Like people can say something, or my husband say something. I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna ignore it. But sometimes that ignoring can come into agitation and make you they get on your nerves, and they don't really realize why they got on your nerve. I'm like, because you keep saying the same thing and I don't like it. So now because I'm kind of saying the same thing, he's switching up some of the words, but uh I had to start saying it because I'm like, you know what, people don't know what bothers you or makes you feel uncomfortable unless you say something. So a lot of folks are not good body readers. They're not good facial
Yes.
readers, or they show don't be looking at. They're like, you don't see my face. You not see my face is aggravating. God, where my it looks like I'm aggravated. You don't see what I have an aggravating look on my face.
Yeah, but communication is really, really big, and we do have to, like you say, you have to use your voice to just let people know. But you don't have to be mean or nasty
Nope.
about it.
Nope.
If you don't know how to approach them, put it in a letter. Write it down or something, just so you will be able to communicate with them. And a lot of times, people don't know that they are irritating you or that something is a trigger for you. So
Right.
if we don't tell them that this is what triggers me, and you talked about those, then they don't know, and then once they know, and if they're not working to improve that, then then you need to reevaluate that relationship.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and like you said, set some boundaries.
And the boundaries are very important because sometimes I think we forget sometimes because even with family, their family, they were overstepping. They were over like the one of the ladies that her ambassador for her boutique. She was like she's held on a product for a family member for like 3-4 weeks. She's like, she's not going to do that no more. Like you need to pay up when you say you're going to pay up. If not, you can go. It's going to go to the next person because family can take advantage of because they're family.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can take advantage of because they're family. Well, anybody else want to share?
All right, so I don't have anything to share, but I just want to thank you for the great information.
You're welcome, Miss Lisa. Because I'm just learning self-preservation and boundaries. I think some like our mamas, I mean, they had it back then, but they were just, we are a different breed now, so we can speak a little more. We have more, now they had the rights. We just have more, I guess we have more options now. Then back in the day, with the women, they didn't have as many options as they had. So maybe they wanted to be voiceful. Maybe they wanted to use their voice, but they didn't have as many options as we have now as women. If things don't go right, for us to be more voiceful of how we feel and how to do stuff. So but yeah, self-preservation, they did little self-preservation, but sometimes they were just still hurting and inside. But we as women now, we have tools. We're gonna reignite our power, get our power back, our voice power, our powers in our life in general. Um, so anybody else want to share before we get ready to close on our call? Well, if not, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to our Superwoman still standing. It's not, it's the Swag You. It is Superwoman Around the Globe University, aka Swag You, our empowerment call. Swag You, again, for those that are on Facebook, Swag You is an online platform and initiative for us women 40 and up to get empowered, to expand and to elevate in our life, in our business. We do our weekly empowerment calls every Sunday at 8:15, and we're about to bring the Power Circle Business Building classes or calls back to Swag U starting on next Thursday. So next Thursday we are going to we're doing a series this entire month, but so this on the 8th, we're going to be talking about 4 ways to make the holidays your dollar days. A lot of women are seeking part-time entrepreneurship along with their job. And so you may have some extra free time and you want to learn how to make the holidays your dollar days. You want the money to come in. You want more money coming in that's going out for the holidays. And so we're going to give you 4 ways to make the holidays your dollar days, as well as on the 15th, we'll be talking about Facebook ad creation for beginners. And on the 22nd, I got to change that message, how to create virtual events the right way. A lot of people are doing virtual events. They are okay, but I want to teach you how to do virtual events the right way so you can think the long game and not the short game when it comes to the virtual events. So if you are a member of Swag U, if you're a lady of Swag U, it is free. Membership have its privileges, and if you are not a member, then you need to come on and join us and be a member. Only for $24 a month. You can pay that a monthly. You can pay that in upfront for the year, or you can pay that because you get a discount when you pay that for the year, or you can pay it by yearly by paying $100 in the first 6 months and $100 in the next 6 months. That is up to you guys. So I'm just excited, guys, about this year. I'm in beast mode from started in September. I'm in beast mode from September until July. So you'll see a lot more of me doing the things that God has called me to do and positioned me to do that I have been holding back on. A lot of the stuff I've been holding back on, I just have been holding back on. I just have. Because life has happened. And when life happens to me, I don't want to do nothing. And so I'm just excited about it, guys. So I hope y'all have a great morning and a night if you're continuing to watch this. And we'll see you Thursday, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.